There were 5 souls from distant corners of the world, each marked by blood, fire, or vengeance. Ignacia, a fire mage on a path of retribution. Gaius, a halfling wanting to push the boundaries of the flesh. James Lon Ishtar, a nobleman trying to avenge his sister. Octavius, a wizened wizard seeking the arcane mysteries of the land. And Brother, a prince trying to fulfill his quest and earn his name. What brought them together was a name whispered in port cities and bounty halls. Jurgen Blackfox, pirate, sorcerer, and murderer. He slipped through the borders like mist, and always left fire in his wake. Their chase led them to the Vistani, mystics and wanderers. For a price, the Vistani offered a trail, and for a greater price, they offered passage. But it was not Blackfox they found. It was Barovia, a land swallowed by fog, a prison wrapped in mist, and at its heart, Count Strahd von Zarovich. The hunt was over, and the nightmare had begun. They had endured much, witches, ghouls, and murderers, but still they stood, and for a time, it felt as though they were winning. With new allies at their side, the party laid claim to a crumbling tower at the edge of a lake. They called it a sanctuary, the beginnings of a foothold, but Barovia is not a land that gives without taking. From the halls of Castle Ravenloft came a shadow sent to remind them of who ruled this place. Rahadin, Chamberlain and Butcher. He did not arrive with armies. He came alone. The battle was swift and merciless, and they fought like those who had everything to lose, because they did. James Lon Ishtar, noble knight, fell to Rahadin's blade, not because he was weak, but because the Dark Lord demanded a price for the tower, and Barovia always takes its due. They had claimed ground in a cursed land, but it was never truly theirs. It belonged to Strahd. And now, they knew it. Octavius was older than most adventurers by decades, but age had not dulled him. His mind was a fortress of knowledge, his will unshakable, and his hunger for arcane mastery endless. He had seen stars most mortals never dreamed of, and he even loved, once, a banshee whose kiss had nearly killed him. But he sought more. As the party splintered, some drawn towards darkness, others clinging to rigid virtue, Octavius remained at the center, the calm hand and voice of reason, a bridge between these ideals. He never claimed to be a leader, but when he spoke, they would listen. The final assault on Castle Ravenloft, the last stand against Strahd. The throne room was a battlefield of shadows and flame. And Octavius, despite all of his wards and careful preparation, was the first to fall. 3 flame skulls rose in a chorus of shrieking laughter. From their mouths came fire. Even the ancient sigils of Abjuration, woven into Octavius's very blood, could not hold. Octavius was reduced to cinders, just like that, gone. Ignacia was never meant to be here. His pursuit of Jurgen Blackfox had begun over a petty insult, some slight in traffic, turning spark into flame. But like so many things in Barovia, the spark had become a wildfire, and he was quick to anger, quicker to act, slow to forgive. Towns would burn in his wake, whether or not he meant them to. While others clung to ideals, Ignacia reached for something else: survival. When faced with how every corner of Barovia was stained under Strahd's cold, distant hand, Ignacia didn't flinch. He argued the tyrant was the rightful ruler, and that opposing him was foolish. Cowardice to some, pragmatism to others. To Ignacia, it was just fire choosing the direction of the wind. Still, when the time came, Ignacia fought. He stood beside those he had argued, burned, and bled with. Maybe it was loyalty, maybe pride, maybe just spite. But it was not malice or magic that killed him. It was cold steel. A pair of enchanted suits of armor, relentless and unfeeling, struck him down without pause. His final scream echoed with flame, but no one can tell if it was rage or laughter. In his death, he left no apology. Nuahid was not like the others. He did not cross mountains or seas to reach Barovia. He had always been here. A druid by name and a student of spiders by choice. His magic was older than most understand. Whispers followed him, rumors that he bore the soul of Sergei von Zarovich, the brother Strahd had slain lifetimes past. Nuahid never denied these rumors. Curiosity was his true nature. Morality was a web to be explored and not obeyed. He ate the flesh of dead angels, brokered a pact with an aboleth in the lake's depths. While others recoiled, Nuahid only asked questions. When the party made their final siege, he came too. Whether for loyalty or fascination, none could really say. A witch in Strahd's service called down storm after storm. Lightning found Nuahid, twice, then a third time. The druid screamed, and the forest screamed with him, and so ended Barovia's strangest son. Gaius was born small, and he never forgave the world for it. A halfling by birth, but in his mind, never again by destiny. And so he turned to the forbidden, the profane and the ancient, each secret another step away from the weakness of his past. While others fought for vengeance, justice, and survival, Gaius sought transformation, and when the rest of the party looked away, he would act. He would make pacts, the most forbidden ones. He carved power into his bones, wore his mutations like trophies, and when those close to him questioned his path, he hid his worst truths with a smile. At some point, he stopped trying to save Barovia. He meant to rule it. He marched into Castle Ravenloft not as a comrade, but as a contender. Not to slay the tyrant, but to replace one. As his allies fell, and Strahd turned his gaze upon him, a coven of witches called down the land's final answer. A fog, thick and green and writhing with poison. His spells faltered, and his lungs filled, and all the dark power he had hoarded could not buy him another breath. Gaius did not die with a crown, but in a choking haze of his own ambition. He was simply called Brother, a prince of sun-drenched sands born into nobility, bound by an oath, to slay a great evil and earn his true name not by birth, but by deed. Where others compromised, he did not, and where others delved into shadows, he drew his blade and walked forward. He truly believed, not in escape, but in victory. He believed they could end it. He saw the fracture coming. Gaius growing hunger for power, Ignacia turning his coat, Nuahid drifting deeper into his madness, and even Octavius, wearied by age and loss. And so he made the call. Attack the throne, end the nightmare, strike before the last light of unity went out. It did not work. One by one they fell, to witches and monsters, to fire, to fog, to lightning, and then it was just him. He faced Strahd alone, surrounded by the corpses of his fallen companions, and the Vampire Lord, who had seen centuries of failed heroes, paused for a moment. Not in fear, not in pity, in respect. Strahd cut him down himself personally, not with mockery, but as one warrior ends another. Brother died as he had lived, standing against evil. Their story ended in silence. 7 souls, broken, burned, and buried beneath the stones of Barovia. Their names now lost to time. And yet, Barovia is not a land that forgets. In this cursed land, no soul ever escapes. Each who dies here is reborn again, without memory, again and again. A soldier will become a servant, a hero will become a farmer, a tyrant becoming a shopkeep, and so the cycle will repeat. New heroes will come, new legends will arise, new rebellions will burn and fall. There is no progress here, no change, only the cycle. Barovia is not a place where stories end. it is where they repeat, until the land itself forgets what the first story ever was. And when the next heroes come, they too will walk into the same darkness and be swallowed just the same.